All right, so I'll send you all the links if you don't have them already to get into this. So this is the back end of Local Hop. And the concept of Local Hop is that we're not only our calendar, you're also part of a larger community calendar. So anybody else that has Local Hop, the idea is great that you could have a lot of, area things all on one calendar. Problem is not everybody obviously belongs to Local Hop. I've been trying to get some libraries to move towards it because I do like it. It's quirky, but they do work with me a lot. And so if we have suggestions, believe it or not, they're so small at this point that they will actually work with us and try to help us figure some of this stuff out. So this is the back end. And here you just have our name and then some information about the organization in a drop down. It has our profile. If we have ever get ourselves branded, we can have a nice banner and logo here. I just have this stuff as fillers because if you don't, it leaves a really big spot in the calendar when it's online. So you have to have something. I put in our users as of right now, and Kevin, I can add you. And I made everybody the same super admin because I trust you that much. So that's our users. Unfortunately, it will not send you though, like when somebody registers for one of your program, you can only have one email for that. And so I put mine in there and I'm happy to forward them to you if you want me to forward them. But if you want to find out who's registered for like your programs in real time, I suggest you go online and look in here and I'll show you how to do that. So that's users. And you have form builders. So you can add a form that you attach to a registration when somebody registers. So for example, we have a photo release form. So it just says that hereby I give permission and we have it just a yes or a no. And so that way we have that and it's stored here and it's on record and we don't have to worry about storing some piece of paper. So if we can get people to do it this way, it's great. But you can use it for a lot of different things. I have a volunteer form. We used it for summer registration. I used it for Bonnie and John's celebration, just had them like check that they were vaccinated. So you can add and build a new form. It's really easy. You just add whatever kind of thing you want here and type it in and it'll give you a little sample here. So you can play around with that. Notifications, as I said, only goes to one person. So I have it set at me. At some point, if somebody wants to be a martyr, they can step up and be that person. But for right now, I'm willing to do it. Yeah.
We do have events at eltinglibrary.org. We could have it go there.
And then just have that forward to everybody?
Or you can just check it. That's what I've been doing with all our Zoom registrations and stuff like that.
Okay. That just gives me another place to have to go check, but I guess.
Oh, okay. In case you didn't want your inbox being flooded.
Oh, I don't mind these at all.
Oh, okay.
I know, like when people are registering anyway, because
yeah.
I go in and check all the time anyway. But so I'm
happy. I found that my more important emails were being buried by stuff with Zoom. So.
Okay. Well, good
yeah.
And thank you. So okay, so that's notifications. Age groups. Oops, somebody's coming. We can add in different age groups, but our basic ones right now that are active are adults, teens, babies, and children. We could do senior citizens, we can do whatever you wanted. And what that does is it categorizes it on the calendar for us. And then people can sort their searches by that and look for events that are just for babies or just for children. And they can be color coded and blah, blah, blah. So then we have like our additional venues, and this is nice because you can tell exactly where it is within the library. And I want to use like we had a long conversation about whether, courtyard versus reading garden. I really strongly feel that if we name something after somebody, we have to do our best to try to use that name. I hate naming things after people, but I do think that if we've done that, we should do that. Of course, here I have HHHC abbreviated because I probably at the time didn't know how to spell it. So, but that should be pulled all the way out too. So you could, and what's nice is like people know what room to go ahead and go to. And this even has a room reservation feature on it, but we also have that feature on our calendar appointment thing through the website. So I just have it through the website. So that's the organizational tab. If we go to the events, if I go to the middle one, that's shows you what it looks like right now for July. You can forward to August. You can go back and see what we've done. You hover right over, you can pop up and it'll show you. You can look at the guest list and see who registered for what. They will get reminders. So like this was a personnel committee and I registered them all, but this way they got the reminder, you know, if there was a link, they got the link. So that's why I did that way. You can also look at it as an events list and you can toggle from each page right here as well. So this is nice if you're trying to go quick and look up some stuff, you know, like, oh, how many people are registered? If you hover over, you'll see 0 registered out of 25 available. 6 are registered out of 19. You know, so 11 out of 14. So it's nice. You can edit it right from here. You can duplicate the event if you're going to do it again. You don't have to start from scratch. You'll put in new dates and things and it'll walk you through that, but it'll start with the same basic information. So, so let's play around a little bit with a create event. So if you're going to create a new event, you would just put the name of the event here. I have separated things into events, class, or camp. Well, these are all that are offered. I'm asking the company to actually make more of these so that we could have like a just adult calendar, just teen calendar, just board calendar, or things like that. We can name them our own thing. But I'll show you over here under calendar snippets. This is where we would get our little code and that I have embedded in the website. So if you see this one calendar's code, I can do like click on this and it will be a regular calendar. This would be a little mini calendar. This would be like one of the scrolling lists that you see, the little windows that are on a couple of our pages now. This one, this calendar will include all the events, classes, and camps because that's what I selected. This one is just classes. And so I have designated classes to be just children's program. Events are everything. And if it's just children's, I put it as classes. That way I can do a calendar on her page that's just children's programs. So I'm kind of working the system a little bit here. And then I have one that's just camp, and camp stands for the board. So that way I can have a board calendar and just put that on their page, or people that want to just see when the board meetings are. And I'm trying to put all the committees on there and all that stuff so they can keep all that straight. And then down here I had one that's just for the events, and that's pretty much everything that's not either camp or classes. So that's what we have right now as a workaround, so that I can embed some of these things. But let me go back to create event. So you would just, again, name your event, something intuitive, and you would select, if it's children's, say, you would check class. You would write, you know, your description. You don't have to put the time or anything in there, just, you know, what this event is about, what, you know, what they should expect. You know, that kind of stuff there. I usually change this. Either way, this both goes back to our website. I just like web, because this isn't really more information. It just takes you back to the website. So there's no real more information. So I usually change that to that. This allows you to put it only on your calendar, and it will hide it from that community calendar. This is really good if you're doing something that like summer reading, which was for the entire summer. I put it just one on my calendar because I don't want people outside of our area signing up for it. And then 2, this way it only showed up on our calendar on one day, and I could share that link and people can always go back and find it and register, no problem. But it didn't wasn't on every day through the whole calendar, eating up a bunch of space. Is that a question? No. Okay, so event categories you have to select. They give you all these different options. I didn't build these or select these. These are what we're giving. So, you know, if you want to say it's family friendly, you know, some of these are better for us. We want to, you know, highlight that it's free because people might think it's not. Just say it's library if you don't know what else to say, you know. If something's teen or tech, you just highlight that thing and hit the arrow and it moves it over into this box. You can hit several and move them over. You can highlight it and then delete it. Same thing with the age groups. Say it's an infant toddler. We, as I said, we're using the children's babies, and they give you all these old ones that are already out of their like box. You can use whichever ones make sense for your program. Teens, I don't care. Obviously, we wouldn't have both of this. That would be a weird program. Okay, so, or all age groups, and it will just list them all. Always put a picture because, let me show you when we go. When we go online and you can see, oh, it's scrolling. If it doesn't have a picture, I think one of these I don't have a picture in it. Paint and I think I did put it in. Anyway, if it doesn't, it does this generic, like, stupid looking thing. So always put a picture in. It makes a difference when it gets pulled out. If it's a virtual event, you would click this. You can put the URL right from Zoom right in here. This is, even though this says optional and optional, this is one quirky thing they're trying to work on. You have to put something, if you put something in here, you have to put something in here. So in here, I just do like link, and then here I'd have like the whole Zoom link would be here. And then that seems to work. If you don't have this, for some reason, when you email, the people, it will not show up the Zoom link. Okay, so I messed that up. Anyway, all right, so if it's not virtual, here you would just choose your location. This is just the main location. If you're not saying anything, you can always type in something very specific here and then save it. If you know it's going to be in the reading garden, you put that right in there. It'll tell you automatically. So same thing, you can type in there. You would save, sorry. Just wait a minute. Oh, you have to pick all these stuff. Okay. So once you get this successfully saved, you have the base of your program. And so if you're going to duplicate, that's what's going to get duplicated. Now you're adding the details, which would be the date and the time. If it's something that goes on forever and you want somebody, when they sign up for one, to be signed up for all of them, then you would do this, and you can do like monthly, weekly, whatever. If not, just stay away from that, and you might have to put in multiple dates, but that's fine too. So you pick your date. Here's when it starts, here's when it ends. Now, if this was a program that was running like all month long, like summer reading, you can definitely add that in here. And it'll just, again, I would hit that other button and show only on our calendar, and then it won't show up everywhere. So if you want to edit, you can just go back in and edit. I put it down to 1 day. You pick your time, start time and end time. It always defaults to an hour, but you can change it to whatever you need. If it's an all-day event, you would just check this and these would disappear. If you want to set the reminders for people, 8 hours, 1 day, 2 days, I usually leave the default of 1 day. Then you would save. And it says, okay, so this is going to happen on Thursday, and you say yes. Okay, so then you see it there. Now you have to add tickets. This is where it starts to be like, okay, it's getting a bit much. But the reason is because this does a lot of different things. So if I want to use something like Eventbrite or another, you know, resource, I could do an external ticketing, and you would do that there. So you can use a different calendar, a different thing. I did this with one of our programs so that we could have different intervals of time. I linked it to the calendar system that's on our website. So anyway, normally you're just going to pick local hop ticketing. And for some reason, then you click change, which is to me not intuitive. But So this is what you want your button to look like. Do you want them to say register? Do you want them to buy tickets, or you want them to say sign up? It defaults to register. If you were going to use one of the forms, this is where you would select that. So say I had a photo release form that I want. Then you say how many people that you want total to be able to come to this event. So say I want 25 people, but I really can manage 30, so I will allow a waiting list, which means it'll tell people once the event is full, you'll be put on a waiting list, and if the number of people on the list they'll allow in at the end, and I'll show you that in a minute. So then you save it. So then you see that kind of look on, okay, so that we're in, but my button is going to say register. We're going to have the photo release form. There's going to be 25 people, but I'm going to allow a wait list. So now I add a ticket type. I know this seems redundant, but here's where I put like more of a specific name. So if I was going to have like, you know, PJ Story Hour, I'd be more specific than just, you know, story time or whatever, or register. I copy it and I paste the same thing down into the description. So they say the same thing. Here again, you have to go back to the same quantity that you said. I'm going to do 25, but now they're asking how many on that wait list, how many overflow people are you going to be okay with us just allowing in without you having to manually do anything. So I'll say, okay, we can let 2 people over. If there's 2 extra people, I'll take 27. And then down here, when you want registration to open. So for example, when we were doing the movies in the courtyard, we were a little worried that everybody would sign up for the first one and all of them, and then nobody would get to go to any of the other ones. So we delayed registration for a couple of days before the event. And so when people go to the event, they'll get a button that says registration will open soon, or it might even give the date. So that's what that's for. But normally it just defaults to like today and now. And then the end date, it will default to the day of the event. And usually, I think it's the exact same time or somewhere near that. I suggest definitely moving this back. You know, you don't want people registering. I don't want people registering for my program 5 minutes before it starts. But that's up to you. So then you would save your ticket and you'd see it there, and you could edit or you can remove it. And so at that point, you'd be finished. And then we can go to the events calendar and look for this wonderful event that I just created. And there it is. And if we go out to our regular calendar, this is doing something weird too, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Where's this thing? All right. When I click on this, it's like jumping me to this. And then when I click on this, it jumps me to another one of those. I want to get rid of that middle thing. So I have to figure out what's going on with that because it didn't always work like that. But then, so you see, then people can register right from here. Obviously, all this information, it would have a little description. This would be if you need more than it's available. I find that confusing. I wish that didn't show up until it was filled. But so then you would pick, say, oh, I want 7 people to sign up. Tells you it's free. Then you put in the participants' names, and this is the form. They would have to say yes or no for all those. And when they fill out that, they would just go through the next. They're gonna make me fill out all this stuff. Hold on, let me go back to selection. Let's go to one person. Okay. Yes. This is redundant, but it's because the parent is not the child. So a lot of times there's a parent signing up for somebody else. So that might be the person that registered, and then this is going to be, you know, the kid's name or whomever else is, you know. So then it tells you you're registered, and then I get an email, but I don't have access to that email anymore, so I can't show you that. So now let me go back in and delete that program. So here's the program. Obviously, but I have somebody registered for it. So that will cause a problem. So let me show you that. View guest list. I have to unregister that person. If there are people registered, you can't get rid of an event until they're unregistered. So then I just go and delete. You want to remove this event? Yes. And then it was successfully deleted. Okay, so that's a little bit of that. Then what's also really great is we are not doing the room reservation, and would be if you're doing money stuff, collecting money online for an event. But so mostly you'll go to this if you're looking for your reports. So it gives you all the information that they took in from people. So this is, we have a book club. Was it virtual? Yes or no? A description, the type, the age, the location, how many sessions, when did it start or end? I mean, so much information, more than you ever need to know, I should say. Available tickets, how many were purchased. So for annual reports, this is wonderful, makes life very, very easy. So let me stop sharing. So any questions so far with any of that? I know it's a lot, but I recorded it so you can watch it again and again.
Were we able to figure out the issue? I can't even remember if Kim and I talked to you about this. Were we able to figure out the issue where, so I figured out how to make an event have 2 times within one event listing, and then we had issues with registration in the wait list.
Yes.
Was that a local hop thing that we just need to let them know about, or was that a me thing and we should just create separate events all the time?
I think we have to create separate events. What I'm finding is if we set it up that way, it's not working the way we want it to work.
Okay.
So I did it even different with like the dog thing or whatever, the chip thing. For her, there were 2 events, but then I would have to go back and I wrote something very intuitive, like second session or whatever, because it automatically was signing people up for the first session.
Yeah.
So, and not the second one. So it doesn't work like we want it to work. So if you really want to have like 2 sessions, I would say put 2 separate events in at this point until they fix it. I think they will fix it. Eventually.
Because that would make it really easy if people could just go to one event listing and pick the one they wanted. But okay, thank you.
But so any questions about that? Good. All right.
Before you move to Canva, I have a good transition for you. When you're putting as your social media person, when you're putting images into Local Hop, they have to be a certain size.
Yes. And it tells you right there. Hold on. Let me look.
It's like 1200 by 675 or something like that.
It's 1200 by 675. Yep. That's what's recommended. It says it right under where you put the image in. So it's a good reminder right there. And so when you're going into Canva, you want to make sure that you're doing stuff that size, and I'll show you how to do that.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, let me move to Canva.
All right,
you're out.
Peace out. All right.
You know more than you need to know.
Yeah. If anyone has questions about Canva after this meeting, I'll be around.
There you go. Margaret, your girl. All right, so here's Canva. And so I've created accounts for us all so that you can go in and have your, it's a shared account, but you'll go in and it'll just be a login to your stuff. So you won't have to see all of our stuff. It's not the way it was set up before. So this is inside Canva. Let me just walk you through a few things over here on the side. They have recommendations based on things that you've designed before. They have all of my designs. If I want to click on that, it's most recent at the top, but you can search through that. You can go through just recent designs. So if you know it was something that you did recently, look at ones that were shared with you from other people, because you can share between your teams and whatever. We haven't hit to the point where we've really branded ourselves yet, but when we do, it'll be good. Like you can brand a teen, a kid palette, so that, all this stuff kind of has the same feel and look to it, and you don't go rogue and put in weird colors, but we're not at that point yet. Um, they even have a content planner. This is new, so that you can like plan designs, and it hooks up with your social media accounts and stuff like that. But we use a different program for that at this point, and we've already paid for it, so probably just stick with that. All your folders, if you want to organize stuff, you could add stuff here, create new folders. As you can see, I'm not really organized. Stuff that you've thrown away. Um, Stuff that my team did. So, and then you can invite members. So, what you really need to know are they give you templates here uh, based on different topics. So you can easily just go and grab, oh, I know I want to do a Facebook post, and it'll be the right size and the right whatever. So they'll give you, here's a bunch of options that they're suggesting for you, or you can just create a blank one. And then if you still decide you want to see more templates, you can do that from here, right at the top. They'll give you more templates. So they're always suggesting stuff for you. And, you know, sometimes I just look through here and look at for something that just like, oh, I just kind of like that. I don't even know why. Or I'll look for something that's particularly, I know I want to do like back to school. Then I said, oh, maybe I want to do one of these. You just kind of pick and, oh, do I have to erase all of that? Hold on. Get rid of that. And if I wanted to do, oh, kind of like this one, then that appears. And then you can play with every part of this. Change your mind, select a different one till you're satisfied. And like I said, you can start with a blank one, or you can start like this. So once you've selected something, you can go down to, this is uploads. So these would be any images that I've uploaded that I particularly wanted to use in something. Photos would be stock photos that we can use. So you can just search for here. They give you nice suggestions. Elements are kind of like clip art and animation and things like this. I spend a lot of time. I like the elements a lot. Text. They give you a basic header, body, and like a smaller caption kind of thing. But then they give you tons of suggestions too, and things that if you want to use, you can easily add to your thing. So if I don't like this one, you can see it highlights all the boxes. If I just click delete, that will disappear and say, let me find one, say I like this. We'll put that in there, and I just drag it and move it to where I want. And see, you can see the guidelines. They show you the red or magenta color, and shows you that's halfway. The solid line there is halfway through that picture. And if you go up, you can get it to go there center in the picture. So you get the idea. You can stretch it and make it bigger. And then click away. And you can highlight just this and change this just like you would in Word. You can make it a different color. You can make it bigger. You can center it, move it around. You could do it bulleted, numbered. You can even make the lines bigger or the spaces bigger between the words. So you can do a lot of stuff. You can sit it high or low in the box. So all those kind of things. Now you see these two are grouped together. If you want to ungroup it, you just ungroup it. And then that allows me to manipulate each box separately and move it around if I wanted to do that. If I want to group it back together, you just click on that box. I'm going to hold down my shift button, and then I click this, and that highlights both of them, and then I just tell it to group. If I wanted to move it to the back, you can say move it backwards. If you want to move it forward, you move it forward. All those basic things that you can do. You delete pictures. Oh, these are kind of cool. In Elements, one of the things that they have are frames, which I really love. And these are where you put a picture right in this. So it's a picture frame. So if I delete that one, some of them are really cool. I mean, if you wanted it to do a picture in there, I can go just to like my uploads and say I wanted you to know, would you like that? So I like those things. You can do like ripped pictures. See how it goes into different sections. If you're going to do something kind of cool. Anyway, so there's lots of different, you know, artistic stuff that you can do in the elements. There's like tons and tons, you know, that you can do. And so all these could be framed, or if you wanted, you can just fill it in with a solid color. Like if you wanted that to be behind something. And you just click delete to get rid of them. So that's, you know, basically, if I wanted to publish it, I could publish it right to Facebook from here. I hooked up our social media accounts, but like I said, we use, I think it's called Later, to do that. You could share it with another team member. Here's where you would name it something, you know, intuitive to you. This button is to download, and it gives you options. You can do a PNG. If you need something smaller, sometimes I find some of the software I use needs a JPEG because it's just not, you know, as big. You can do a PDF high quality one. You could even add in the crop marks and stuff if you want, if you're sending it to a printer. And then you just download, and it will show you downloading to here. And of course, it gives you advertising. And so it would show you, and then you can print it out if you wanted to use it as a flyer or whatever on top of that. So let me show you some of the other stuff down on the side. Again, different styles. If you really want to say, oh, I want this to be like the whole thing, it'll change the feature to fit that. So that's kind of a cool thing too. If you want to play around with that, you can actually add in audio. You can have little videos that are here. You could upload your own videos. This is just different backgrounds. If you needed to upload your own logos, we don't have any here yet. And here would show you all your folders. And then it even has like a more option. And this is integrating a whole bunch of different things. We do have our Facebook hooked up to it, and I believe Instagram. But here's like when you make QR codes for, you'll see those on a lot of our flyers, and I use them on flyers that are going to be physically in the community, not online. It's funny because one day I was lazy and I left it a QR code and posted on Facebook, and Jason from the board was like, good use of a QR code. I'm like, yeah, not really. But that was funny. So you would just click QR code and find the URL that you wanted it to link to. So say I wanted to link to this program, you would just copy this. I can't get back there. Hold on, I gotta move my thing out of there. We go. Oh, I'm here somewhere. There. Okay. And you just paste it in there, tell it to generate the code, and then you can manipulate it, make it smaller. It doesn't need to, you know, be so huge. Don't make it so small either. You can even put color behind it if you wanted to. So, and so once you print that out, it'll take everybody to that. Let's see. If I wanted to resize this, I say, oh, I really wanted to wish this was a flyer, 8 by 11. You can just click resize, and you can resize it to one of these different sizes, or you can see right here it's pixelated. If I want to change it to inches, and I know I want it to be, oops, it's got to be inches. I could copy and resize it, and that would keep the old one. Or if I unselect the current one, it also gives you the option to just resize that current one. So it resized it, and that way I could make things bigger to fit on that bigger page. I mean, this is a hot mess, but you get what I'm doing, and you can easily adjust it from there if you needed to. File. So just you can save all your stuff here to folders. Otherwise, I think it's pretty intuitive. Like I said, let me go back to my home. A lot of times if I'm starting out, I just go right up to here and You can also do presentations in here, which I did my presentations for my interviews. That was through this. Just all these different things will pop up automatically for you, and it tells you over here in gray what size it is. So then you'll know, I want a business card, which I have to make you guys some business cards. You just don't have to recreate, and you really don't have to be super, creative. You just fine tune things for, by both pages. And then you just update it as you need. So let me stop sharing. Anything about that? Any questions about that? No? Easy?
I mean, I have a lot of questions, but I just wanted to make sure I'm familiar with the programs and stuff. And, I can always rewatch this if I need to.
Exactly. And it's the kind of thing you just got to go in and play if you're like me, But I'll send you all access just to be sure you all have it. And, go ahead and play around and, that's how you learn.
So are things that it seemed like, are the ones that are on there, are those just fake examples that they made, or
Yes.
when you make, oh, okay. So I was wondering if like when you make one, it becomes like part of,
No.
okay. Yeah.
They're not going to share your stuff. Don't worry.
Okay. Good. Yeah. That's what I figured, but.
Yeah, no, those are just, there's so many samples. I like to change them up because it's like anything, like, oh, after a while, you're like, oh, she used Canva because that's right out of the box. But I mean,
Yeah.
But in the beginning, it's good. And I think what also is important is one of the things in their templates is there aren't too many words. One of the biggest problems I have with people with flyers and they try to put too much information, especially librarians. They just, no, that's not accurate. I have to say it exactly like it's, no, some stuff is implied, assumed, or whatever, and you can't write a whole book on a small social media flyer. It's like one of my biggest pet peeves, but, I think it's. I usually write it all out what I want to say, and then cross out like half the words. Like, how can I make it smaller? How can I make it smaller? And that's kind of my own little game that I play. But these are really important things to get comfortable with. I think because, I mean, Kevin, you're gonna have to make a million signs for the front desk. From this is out of order to this or whatever. And I mean, they can be handwritten with a permanent magic marker, or they can look really nice. So
I would prefer that they look really nice.
yeah, me too. So, anything else?
I did have one, but I forgot. But I'm sure I'll ask you in a few minutes when I remember.
All right, so I'll post this by the end of the day on a staff website, and that way you can go back and look at it if you want to.
Oh, I remember. Did you send us the logins for these yet in our emails, or are you going to send those?
I'm going to send them to you.
Oh, you're going to send them. Okay, great.
Yep, just to make sure you have it. And I upgraded our account. We didn't have a Canva Pro account, but now we have Canva Pro. Just like
Awesome.
do a little bit more stuff, like you can remove the background in a picture and stuff like that. So, but like I said, Margaret's really good at it, so she'll be able to help you if you're stuck with anything. I'm pretty good at it. If you want to ask me for help, you can always send me your thing, and I can tweak it and whatever if you need help. So you'll learn. It's not. I don't think it's that hard. All right, cool. Then we finished pretty fast. All right. Well,
Awesome.
Any other questions? Just email me, and like I said, I'll post this so you can watch it at a different time. So, all right, guys, have a good rest of the day. I'm sure I'll see you around.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.